20 years. 2 decades of my life poured into Harrison Tech. I built their infrastructure from a garage startup to a Fortune 500 empire. I solved crises that would have buried them. I was family. And yesterday, the CEO's son fired me because I wasn't wearing a tie. Today, Harrison Tech is burning, and I hold the extinguisher. I was 22, fresh out of MIT. Marcus Harrison found me coding in a coffee shop and saw something. He didn't see the thrift store jacket or the cracked laptop. He saw the mind. He made me promise one thing: build something unbreakable. I did. The 2001 dot-com crash. I rewrote their entire backend in 72 hours. No sleep, no complaints, just results. 2008 financial meltdown. I designed their disaster recovery protocol, saved $400 million in assets. 2015 cyber attack. Russian hackers hit us with zero-day exploits. I stayed awake for 4 days, tracing their signatures, building countermeasures. I stopped them at the firewall. The FBI asked me for advice. I missed my daughter's piano recital that week. She played F for Elise. I watched the video later, cried in my office, then got back to work. Because that's what loyalty looks like. Marcus knew. He'd clap my shoulder, call me the wizard behind the curtain, gave me stock options, bonuses, a corner office with a view of the bay. He trusted me with everything, including the master keys. Marcus retired 6 months ago. Heart problems, stress finally caught him. His son Trevor took over, 32 years old. Wharton MBA. 0 days in the trenches. Trevor wore $3,000 suits and talked about synergizing paradigms. He played golf with investors while I kept his servers breathing. He posted motivational quotes on LinkedIn while I debugged code at 3 a.m. I tolerated him. For Marcus, for the company. Yesterday was the Saudi deal, $2.8 billion. The largest cloud infrastructure contract in our history. I'd spent 8 months negotiating, flying to Riyadh learning Arabic phrases, building trust with sheikhs who valued competence over flash. The signing was at 2 p.m. I arrived at 9 a.m. to run final diagnostics. Make sure everything was perfect. Trevor found me in the server room. He looked at my polo shirt, my jeans, my lack of neckwear. Where's your tie? I didn't look up. Critical system check. Saudi servers need verification before it. Where's your tie? I turned. He had that smile. The one he used in board meetings when he was about to say something cruel. Mr. Harrison, I've been here since 5. The Riyadh connection. You're in violation of the new dress code. Effective immediately. New dress code? Section 4.2 Professional Appearance Standards. I implemented it last week. While I was in Dubai closing the final negotiation points, Trevor, Mr. Harrison, the signing is in 5 hours. I need to... You're fired, David. The words didn't register. Not really. Like hearing a language you studied in college but never mastered. What? Security will escort you out. Clear your desk. Personal items only. I stood there. 20 years. The servers hung behind me. My servers. My code. My blood in the machine. The Saudi deal, I said slowly. They'll only sign with me. They trust me. They don't know you. Trevor adjusted his cufflinks. Platinum. Probably cost more than my first car. Then I guess you'll miss the signing. Pity. I'll handle it personally. Take the credit. You know how these sheikhs are impressed by the right pedigree. He turned to leave, paused at the door. Oh, and David? The tie rule applies to the parking lot. Don't make me have you... The low point. The box was cardboard. My name misspelled in marker. Cohan instead of Cohen. Security walked me out. Maria from accounting saw, looked away, embarrassed for me. I sat in my car for 20 minutes. The Harrison Tech Tower rose in my rear view, glass and steel. I'd chosen that glass, specified that steel. My phone buzzed. The Saudis, probably confirming the 2 p.m. meeting. I let it go to voicemail. Then I opened my laptop. Not the company one. They'd taken that, my personal machine, the one I kept synchronized, the one they forgot about. I pulled up the admin console. Access. 20 years of building unbreakable infrastructure. Marcus's words echoed. I'd kept my promise. Built redundancy on top of redundancy. Backdoors for emergencies. Kill switches for catastrophes. Trevor didn't know about any of it. He'd never asked. Never cared how the magic worked. Only that it performed on command. I looked at my hands. They were steady. That's when I decided. Not revenge. Justice. The difference matters. I was going to teach Trevor Harrison what competence looked like. What loyalty looked like when you threw it away. He wanted to play dress-up CEO? Fine. Let's see how his $3,000 suit handled a $2.8 billion meltdown. First, I mapped the exposure. Harrison Tech ran on 3 pillars: the Riyadh cloud cluster, the Singapore financial backbone, and the domestic AI infrastructure. I designed all 3, knew their nervous systems better than my own. Trevor thought the cloud was a marketing term. He didn't know about the physical servers in 17 countries, the fiber optic cables I'd personally routed through geopolitical hot zones. The encryption keys rotated every 47 minutes according to an algorithm I'd written in 2009. He didn't know about the dead man's switch. Marcus and I had built it during the 2015 hack. If the CEO disappeared, death, kidnapping, coup, the system would lock down, protect shareholder value, prevent hostile takeover. The trigger was biometric. Marcus's heartbeat, monitored through his watch. When he retired, we'd transferred the baseline to Trevor's devices. I still had administrative override. The original architect's key. I'd never used it, never even considered it. Until now. I wrote 3 scripts. Simple, elegant, invisible to their new cybersecurity team kids Trevor hired because they had good energy and Instagram followers. Script 1. The Riyadh deception. The Saudi servers would report green status while slowly corrupting transaction logs, not enough to trigger alarms, just enough to make the $2.8 billion deal legally unverifiable. Script 2. The Singapore freeze. Financial backbone would develop latency issues during peak trading hours, every trade delay by 3.7 seconds, eternity in high-frequency markets, billions in losses, regulatory investigations. Script 3. The reveal. At my command, full system lockdown. Everything stops. Every screen displays one message: administrative override activated. Contact original system architect. I embedded them at 11:47 a.m. The signing was in 2 hours. Then I drove home, poured a scotch, waited. The first call came at 2:15 p.m. Unknown number. I let it ring 4 times. Picked up. David? David, it's Trevor. Voice high. Professional calm cracking. Mr. Harrison, how was the signing? Silence. Then, there's a situation. The Saudi servers. They're showing anomalies. Our team can't... Your team? The new people. The ones He caught himself. David, need you to walk us through the Riyadh architecture. Just temporarily, consultant basis. We'll pay whatever... I was fired, Trevor. Dress code violation, remember? That was a misunderstanding. Heat of the moment. You know how it is, running a company, making tough calls. You fired me 4 hours before a $2.8 billion signing because of a tie. Another silence. Longer. I could hear typing, panicked voices in the background. David, please. The Saudis are in the conference room. They're asking technical questions I can't... Try synergizing paradigms. That usually works. I hung up. The second call came at 3:30 p.m. Different number. Marcus's personal cell. The old man himself. David. His voice was gravel. Weak, but still commanding. What are you doing? Stick my legacy, Marcus. You asked me to build something unbreakable. I did. Your son tried to break it by firing the architect. Trevor's an idiot. I know. I've known since he was 12. But this is my company. My shareholders. My name. Your name stopped mattering at 9:15 this morning. David, I got 40,000 employees. Pensions. Families. You're better than this. I looked at my scotch. The ice had melted. Like my patience. Am I Marcus? Am I better than being thrown out with a cardboard box? Better than being humiliated for a necktie? Better than watching 20 years get flushed because a child wanted to feel powerful? He had no answer. I didn't expect one. Tell Trevor to check his email. The board of directors just received a detailed technical briefing about the 3 scripts currently running in his infrastructure, about who wrote them, about who can stop them. You wouldn't. I already have. The only question is whether I unwrite them. I hung up again. At 4 p.m. the stock started dropping. Not dramatically, not yet, just a tremor. Harrison Tech down 2%. Analysts confused. No news to explain it. At 4:30 p.m. down 5%. Bloomberg started calling. Trevor's synergy quotes weren't helping. At 5 p.m. the Singapore freeze hit. 3.7-second delays. Trades failing. Algorithms confused. The financial press went live. At 5:15 p.m. my phone exploded. Trevor, Marcus, the board chairman, a Saudi prince's assistant. I silenced them all. At 5:45 p.m., I had a final script. Not the lockdown, something subtler. Every Harrison Tech executive's email suddenly CC'd me on all internal communications. I watched Trevor's panic spread in real time, watched him realize how deep I'd built myself into their nervous system, watched him understand that firing me had been a grammatical error, not a reality. The stock closed down 12%, $1.4 billion in market cap evaporated. The Saudi deal was under review. The board called an emergency session. I ordered Thai food, pad Thai, extra peanuts. I'd earned it. The doorbell rang at 8:30 p.m. Not delivery. Trevor Harrison stood on my porch. No suit, khakis and a polo shirt. Ironic that. His eyes were red, hair wild. He looked like I'd looked 12 hours ago, but without the dignity. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He walked to my living room, like a man approaching a gallows. Sat on my couch, the one I'd bought with my first Harrison Tech bonus. The one where I debugged code while my daughter slept on my shoulder. "What do you want?" he asked. Wrong question. He looked up. "Then what?" "The right question is, what do you want, Trevor? Because I already have everything I need. I want my company back. I want the server stable. I want the Saudis to sign. I want—" He stopped, realized. "You want me to fix what you broke?" "Yes. Say it." "What?" "Say I fired the only person who could save my company because I'm an incompetent child who cares more about appearances than substance." His jaw tightened. "Pride fighting survival. I've seen that fight before. Pride usually wins with men like Trevor. It's why they fail. But tonight survival won. I fired the only person who could save my company," he whispered. Because I made a mistake. Matters. About who matters? Not the words. Close enough. I opened my laptop. He watched me type. 3 commands. 30 seconds. The scripts dissolved, self-deleting, leaving no forensic trace. I'd built them to be ghosts. "The Riyadh cluster is stabilizing," I said. "Transaction logs will reconstruct automatically. The Singapore latency is resolved. Your stock will recover by morning, assuming you don't speak to any reporters. And the lockdown, the message? Gone. Never existed. Your new cybersecurity team will find nothing. Your board will think you panicked over a server glitch." He stood, relief making him giddy, already rewriting the narrative in his head, already forgetting. "David, I thank you. I'll reinstate you immediately. VP of Engineering. No, CTO. Whatever you want. Double your previous salary. Triple." "I don't want your job, Trevor." He stopped. "Then what?" "I want you to understand something. Tonight, you sat in my living room, in my clothes, begging me to save your empire. Tomorrow, you'll wear your suit again. You'll forget this. You'll fire someone else for a stupid reason, because that's who you are. David. But you'll remember one thing. Every time you look at your servers, every time you sign a deal, every time you feel powerful, you'll remember that I built your house, that I hold the keys, that I let you live in it." I walked to the door, opened it. "Get out." The Saudi deal closed 3 days later. I watched the announcement on CNBC, Trevor in his suit, shaking hands with the prince, taking credit for my 8 months of work. I didn't mind, because while Trevor was posing for cameras, I was starting my own company, Cohen Infrastructure. The website went live that morning. By afternoon, I had inquiries from 3 Fortune 500 companies who'd watched Harrison Tech's glitch and recognized competence when they saw it. By the end of the month, I'd hired 12 engineers, former Harrison Tech employees, people Trevor had dismissed or overlooked. We built systems that made Harrison Tech look like a toy. 6 months later, we won the Dubai contract, $4.2 billion. Bigger than the Saudi deal. The client specifically requested me, the wizard who built the unbreakable system. Trevor called to congratulate me. I let it go to voicemail. Marcus called too. Different message. "You taught him more in one night than I did in 30 years. Thank you." I keep that voicemail. Listen sometimes when I need perspective. The tie? I still don't own one. Never will. My company has no dress code. We hire minds, not mannequins. We build systems that last. Last week, Harrison Tech's board fired Trevor. Stockholders finally noticed the pattern. The new CEO, competent, boring, respectful, called to ask about consulting rates. I quoted him a number. High, fair. He didn't hesitate. Because competence has a price. Disrespect has a higher one. And karma? Karma serves cold with no tie required.